you were in Israel in 06, 07, it sounds like, something like that?
Most of '06.
And you said that there was a tour, like you did some other places too. Like what other places did you go to?
Well, that was the kind of like,
the cherry on top.
yeah, it was just a good opportunity, and I hadn't been there, and I was like, yeah, I want to try that next, because there was only the three areas that were kind of hot at the time, and
So when did you get out? Like when did
so
you
that was
leave?
my last year in the '06. So I was partnered with my buddy Ron introduced me to a good friend of mine, John, who was from SEAL Team 3. He was a former SEAL frogman. So he became my partner in Iraq. And he and my buddy Ron and another one or two guys started an armored vehicle company based on, we were noticing like, I think that it was like the second time I got blown up. I was like, okay, this is pretty apparent that the profiles that we're running, it's leading to engagement because we stick out like a sore thumb. We have big targets on our vehicles.
Are you allowed to say what happened when you were blown up, or is that classified?
Well, there's a couple, like a couple instances. My first vehicle ambush was when I was in SF. I was in Africa and got stitched up. It wasn't like a military engagement. It was we just driving down the road, and some local. They turned out to be military, but I didn't know it at the time because it was dark. And I was in a soft skin vehicle, and they just like lit us up. It was like, oh, I'm awake now, dude. What the fuck was that? Fuck. And it just like stitched up the side of the vehicle with an AK, and we ended up rolling. I ended up, basically eliminating the threat. I was driving the vehicle. Part of the reason we probably crashed in hindsight. And I had a fanny pack on, dude, so I get made fun of.
Fanny pack.
Yeah, I don't really like.
They're back now, by the way.
I know Joe Rogan's bringing them back. I'm like, dude, I don't know, bro.
Joe Rogan's wearing fanny packs?
Oh hell yeah, he rocks fanny pack, dude.
I haven't seen that.
He probably has a fanny pack company. I don't know.
I was talking about all the some of the like streetwear stuff where they got. I mean, they're wearing satchel versions too. Let's get this right. But the '90s are coming back, man. I don't know.
Don't bring a. Actually, I got one.
Fucking satchel right there.
It was a gift. It was a gift.
Just a gift.
Yeah, it's convenient.
So I'm sorry, I cut you off, but you were talking about one of the blow up situations where you were driving.
Yes. So in my time, it was funny because we weren't in like a combat setting per se. It was a high risk. But when you're working in Africa, you're thinking like, I don't want to get malaria. I don't want to get dengue fever. Like everything can kill you in Africa. It is a crazy. It's probably the worst place I've ever been. Is North Africa. And so we're there doing good things, helping win hearts and minds, do demining, counter poaching. And, you're just driving down the street one night and then get stitched up. And I was in civilian clothes, which was crazy. And I only had two teammates with me. And a PA and who was a military. And then two NGOs that were working for the UN. And it was dicey, dude. My first one, I was just a young guy. I was like 26, 25. And I just didn't want to get in trouble. I was like, I just shot that dude. I'm totally going to get in trouble for this. We have to write up a report. I mean,
I'm going to get chewed out.
I don't know how this works. It's like a second deployment, dude. So it was kind of like, from my perspective, I was just a young operator. I was like, I don't want to get kicked out of the military. I did something, I was just trying to protect the dudes because we were in a Toyota ambulance. And so it only had a front driver door and a front passenger. The rest of the dudes were in the back. And so when we got stitched up, I just named it the muzzle flash. I had my Joe Rogan fanny pack on. Hey, it was effective, dude. Bred a 9mm. Also, not the best choice of firearm for special operations. But anyway, I just unzipped it and aimed through the window at the muzzle flash. I just happened to hit the guy like pretty much center mass. I was like, huh.
Nice shot.
Well, the shooting stopped. That's all, at the time. I wasn't seeing all this, unfold that quickly. I was just like, hey, bad guy shooting at me. Mongo, shoot back.
Yeah.
So, he ended up shooting the front tire out is why we lost control. but we ended up going into like this huge drainage ditch and rolled twice. So the guy sitting next to me, my captain, he got ejected or knocked out. And I changed mags, was the only reason which would eventually save my life, because I was smart enough to change mags, because I dumped, I don't know, probably half a mag. And I climbed out the window because the vehicle was stuck up in the air. So my captain was knocked out, not in the seat. Everyone else was in the back. So I just figured he got ejected or something. So I got out and used the vehicle was sticking up in the air, and I used the front for cover and concealment where the engine was. And I see all these dudes walking down, dude. I'm like, damn it, I have the worst luck. I'm like the new guy. My, captain's the most senior guy. He's knocked the fuck out. So I'm like, hey, yell back to my buddy Walt, who was on my team. It's like, hey, bro, what do you want me to do, man? There's like 5 dudes online with, I think 2 or 3 of them have belt feds, man. And we're stuck you guys are pinned in the vehicle. We can't get out the back door. And I got to keep trained on this cat. Like, they're walking down the street. And they're maybe like 50 to maybe 100 meters, because it was dark. There's no street lights. Yeah. I could see them. I was like, fuck. And he's like, yeah, just hold fast, dude. So anyway, long story short, this whole thing turned into like this crazy situation where they all came around and surrounded us, and they put AKs to our heads, and I had a pistol to one of their heads. So we're all like, we all have guns to each other's heads. And we were standing there for like literally probably 2 hours, trying to deconflict and de-escalate the situation.
Did you have a language barrier going on?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Nobody spoke English.
No French, no English.
No, I'm like, hey, and all they cared, they're like, who shot our guy? And I'm like, hey, motherfuckers, look, I know I'm the new guy. Don't throw me under the bus, right? And then, my buddy Walt was laughing because he was just like, no, dude. And so, yeah, they wanted us to give up our weapons, and that was the sticking point. And I'm the new guy, so I'm like, hey, I ain't giving them shit. They're going to fucking kill me, dude.
Yeah.
They're going to kill all of us.
Well.
So we ended up, it was kind of a crazy situation, but like it kind of worked its way out. I think that was like 2 a.m. through like 5:30 in the morning.
With guns to each other's heads.
Oh, well, so after the guns got, we showed them a letter. I was like, this is from your president. They're like, they tore it up, dude. I was like, no, it says this is, we're here on behalf of the U.S. government. We're trying to help your people. And they went, shh, shh. And I was like, oh, that's bad. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'm pretty sure this is bad. And then they're like, who shot our guy? I was like, I don't know.
Shoot. No one shoot.
Yeah. Well,
who shoot?
Who shot at me, man?
No one shoot.
So finally the decision was made to, not my decision. I was highly against it. And just, we were at a stalemate, and we were outgunned, gave up weapons. And then,
they let you go?
No, they didn't let us go. They kind of did like a little mock execution on us. At least that's the way I remember it. But they kind of marched us down to, there was like these, I don't remember how many dudes, maybe 5 dudes. You'd think I'd remember that stuff.
How many of you? 3?
Armed.
Well, you said NGO, 2 NGOs.
There's only 2, really 2 of us, me and my,
you had the PA, your partner, and then the 2 NGOs.
So it was Walt, myself, and then my captain was knocked the fuck out. So we were only 3 carrying, but we only had pistols. The crazy situation, then, ever since then, I'm like, I'm always going freaking heavy, dude.
Yeah.
Because it was just supposed to be a short trip. Threat profile was very low. We're just kind of going on night, down the road. And anyway, they walk us over, and there's clearly the leader. He's behind a belt-fed machine gun with his little nug, his little guy, training it. And they made us sit down, like in front of this fucking belt-fed machine gun. And they're like, yeah, I don't remember. I said, all I remember is like, I told my buddy Walt on my team, I was like, I said something about having a Spyderco. I was like, I have a Spyderco, dude. Should we just go for it? Like a knife, like a folding knife. I was like, should we just go for it? He's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, it's all gonna work out. I was like, I'm not convinced. I'm on my knees.
Yeah, we're sitting on our knees.
I feel like we're gonna get executed. I'm pretty sure. So anyway, it was just kind of a crazy situation that, And,
so they just left. They said, cool.
Yeah. Well, what happened was we had 2 native speakers spoke French. So half these guys spoke Arabic, the other half spoke French. My French was not up to par for a conflict of this size. So they ended up recognizing who we were. Somebody knew one of the NGOs that was with us. They were just rapping the whole time and speaking French. And I was like, man, this is a bad situation. It could have been very bad. And they actually, when they took my gun, they started smelling the barrels. My gun was hot. I had, meaning I had a round in the chamber. It was on fire. And since I switched mags, I had a full mag. And they were finger on the trigger, guys smelling it. And I was like, I hope this thing goes off in your face, dude. Like, you just ruined my night.
Should have been like, yeah, it was me, motherfucker.
But they checked the mags too. That's what saved me, because they were like, they just wanted to know who did it. And I was like, everyone had full mags. I dropped it on the floorboard when I got out the window. I climbed out the window and I changed mags while I was transitioning, just instinctually, from training.
That saved you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. Please hit that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.